Am I audible online? Okay. थोड़ी इसकी वॉइस कम करना. हेलो 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 हेलो. नहीं. हेलो. ठीक है. Hi. So hi everyone, online and offline. So today we will be starting with the first session in your integrated current affairs course. So basically the agenda for the day is that I will be taking some mains topic with you. Now when I talk about beta mains ka topic, first of all, what should be your mindset? See, when I talk about that I am dealing with the mains ka topic, your mindset should be that these topics should either directly or indirectly should help me in answer writing. Very simple, very plain. Okay? Because whatever mains topic we will be dealing in the class, the ultimate agenda of those topics will be to make you fetch mark either in GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 or in essay peripherally. Okay? So the agenda of dealing with the mains topic will be to write mains answers. Now when I talk about mains answer writing, I don't know how many of you are new and how many of you are continuing with your subsequent years. So I will assume that all of you are new. When I talk about the mains answer writing beta, the major parts of mains answer writing, their introduction, post introduction, you need to address the demand of the question. Now the question may have different parts. Maybe the question is asking the causes and the consequences, or maybe the consequences and the government schemes, or maybe the causes and the way forward. What I'm saying, question may ask you to address maybe 3 parts, 4 parts, or maybe 2 parts, or even 1 part. So you need to address the different parts of the question. Once you're done with the parts of the question, you will end your answer with a definite conclusion. So your answer should look as if you have completed whatever you have to write in the answer. Okay? That is nothing but the conclusion. Now I need your attention. So that you can utilize my classes much better when you are doing the mains answer writing. Okay? Beta, whenever I will be dealing with the topics, my agenda will be that whenever you are writing these parts, my sessions will be giving you the fodder for the content, fodder for the argument, and the fodder for the value addition. Just allow me a minute. See, whenever you are doing answer writing now, for example, there will be an introduction, then part 1. Let's say part 1 is nothing but reasons for rupee depreciation. Reasons for rupee depreciation, nothing but your part 1. So you will be addressing this part, reasons for rupee depreciation. What I'm saying, whenever you will be addressing this part beta, your first point, let's say this is your first point. First point mein your first thing will be the content or the point, or what I guess is the fodder. I will come to it with my sessions. I will clear what do I mean by content. Then this content will be followed by arguments. For example, you are saying inflation is a reason for rupee depreciation, or let's say you are saying high rate of interest rate in, let's say, USA is a cause of rupee depreciation, let's say. So high interest rate by FedEx, this is nothing but a content. Then you need to give the argument that these high interest rate will attract the foreign countries for XYZ reasons. We will come to it, the content. What I'm saying, content will be followed by argument. So it may be of 1 line or 1.5 line. Then you will be doing the value addition. Value addition. Now, when I talk about the value addition, beta, there are different tools of value addition. Okay? The tools of value addition, please write it somewhere if you are very new and if these things are new to you. Okay? See, if you want to be an IAS officer, your answer should be something which are above average than your competitors, right? Your competitors will always be writing the content and the arguments, but they may fail at value addition ka level. That is the point where you have to take the edge from your competitors. What I'm saying, the tools of value addition, that how you substantiate your argument. The first tool can be data. The second tool can be report. So you should know very explicitly at the top of your head that what are the tools you have in order to value add your answer. So what I said, the first tool is data, second tool is reports, then we have examples, then we have current context. I will come to all of them in my subsequent lectures, do not worry at all. You not to worry at all about anything. Okay? Everything is my part of role. Hai na? Data, so these are nothing but value addition tools. Value addition tools. So we talk about data, reports, examples, current context. Then you have case studies, best practices, committee and their recommendation. Then you have important judgments, especially in the polity wala topics. For example, in today's lecture we will see a topic of 3 language formula. So that is nothing but the topic from the polity. So in those topics we need to see some important judgments by the court. Okay? Then you have keywords. Then last you have schemes, and believe me, all of them work as a value addition tool in your answer writing. Now it is not necessary that for all the points you will be doing the value addition, but for some of the points value addition is required. Let me say now second point. Again you will be writing the content followed by the argument, and then there will be a value addition. That is how your part will be addressed when you are doing the answer writing. Now it was important for me to tell you this so that whenever you are sitting in my lecture especially, I want your mindset in that direction, that whatever sir is telling we have to funnel it in this format. In this format only I will be giving the class notes or the class handouts. Okay? Chalo. Online, any doubt beta? Online, any doubt? No. Okay. Can you tell me in the comment section which attempt will be 2026 of yours? First attempt, second attempt, third attempt. Just in the comment section mention first, second, third. Please, everyone. So that I can sense the demography of the class. Okay. Then I will start. Okay, got it. Beta, just listen to me. Those who are new with me, those who know me, they know me, right? Those who are new with me, let me tell you my pedagogy of dealing with the syllabus. I will start slow and steady, right? I will try to convey each and everything in the topics in the syllabus, but in between I will be taking up the day long classes. So maybe once in 3 months or once in 4 months I will be taking out day long classes in which we will be either revising or we will do the flash, what I can say, the coverage of the remaining topics. Okay. Whatever we will be doing in the today's class, that is nothing but the extensive coverage of all the topics so that you are comfortable with my style. Within this handout only I will try to give you some homework also. Let's say if I want you to deal with the topic which is almost similar to the topic, I will give you as the homework, and in those day long sessions of flash revisions I will cover everything. Okay. And believe me, if you're going with me in your mains preparation, especially to the mains current affairs, you will enjoy your mains preparation. Okay. You will know exactly what you have to do while you're writing the answers. You will be comfortable in generating the points automatically. See, we cannot memorize everything, right? So my role with you will be to automate the things. Then answer writing will also be a cakewalk for you. Okay. Chalo, let's start the class without any further delay. Baatein hoti rahengi. So the agenda for today's class, I will be dealing few mains ka topics. Topic 1 is rupee depreciation. So as you all know that Indian rupee is depreciating. So give a heading, topic 1, rupee depreciation. So as you know that India's rupee is depreciating. When I talk about depreciation, what do I mean? That my rupee value as compared to dollar value is going down. Look at the board, keep your pens down. Look at the board, keep your pens down. This is the basic understanding, and if this understanding is clear in your head now, your points will automatically come in your answers. You need not to memorize anything. Okay? Focus on the board. I am saying I am having 100 apples in the economy. So my entire economy is about 100 apples. I just have 100 apples in the economy. I am saying either I have 100 rupees with me or I have $100 with me in the economy. Then with the economy wala mindset, tell me, if I have to purchase 100 apples and if I only have 100 rupees with me, I am saying or, not and. So what is the cost of one apple? 1 rupee per apple. Similarly, if I am having only $100 in the economy and I am having 100 apples in the economy, what is the cost of one apple? $1 per apple. Now, I am saying due to any reason XYZ, due to any reason XYZ, I am having now 200 rupees in the economy and 100 apples only. What will the cost of one apple? 2 rupees. That means when I am saying 200 rupees is there in the economy and I have to purchase 100 apples, then one apple is equals to 2 rupees. But when you were having $100 in the economy, one apple was costing you $1. That means which has more value, dollar or rupee? Dollar. See, one apple is equals to $1. So you have to spend less dollar for one apple. Here you have to spend 2 rupees. That is more rupee for one apple. That means the value of apple, so the value of dollar is more. Now, this is one of the scenario. Give me 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Okay? I am saying now there is a second scenario. Rupee is 100 only, but I am saying dollar is now 50 with me. It has decreased somehow. Dollar in the economy has decreased somehow. Now, what will happen, beta? 100 apples, 100 rupees you have. So one apple will be costing you 1 rupee. And here, one apple will cost you $0.5. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? For one apple, you have to give 1 rupee. For one apple, you have to give just $0.5. Which is having more value? Again, dollar is having more value, because you have to give less amount of dollar for one apple, and you have to give 1 rupee for the one apple. That means dollar is having more value in this case. Now, wait for it. I am saying, if in the economy, if in the economy, I am having more rupee, if in the economy I am having more rupee, that is 200 rupees, that means my value of rupee will come down. ठीक है? That means value of rupee will come down. And similarly, I am saying, if I am having less dollar in the economy, my value of dollar will increase. Those who are not comfortable in the maths, take it that way, yaar beta. If something is scared, if something is limited, that will have more value. Okay. So if dollar is getting, what I can say, in lower in size or lower in amount, the value of dollar will increase. And if in rupees is getting more in amount, value of rupee will increase. Now, if value of dollar is increasing, what will happen to the value of rupee? It will comparatively decrease. See, when I was showing you these stats, 85 rupees is equals to $1. So even if the dollar ka value is increasing, the value of rupee will decrease. Hayana. So anything in the economy which is bringing either more rupee or which is either depleting my dollar will lead to depreciation of Indian rupee. Now I can make it more technical, but I don't want to do. That is your economy wala faculty ka work. Okay? I will keep it very simple from the mains perspective. Very, very simple in the layman language. Now, you need to tell me, beta, when will be the less dollars in the economy? Just give me one example. For example, if we are importing, if my imports are increasing, don't you think I need to give away dollar to the foreign countries from which I am importing? Unko dollar dena padega. So if my imports, that is, I am bringing some, let's say for example, I brought some crude oil in the country. So I will give dollar. 100 में से I gave them $20. That means my amount of dollar will decrease. That means if imports increases, rupee depreciation will be there. When I am writing D, that means rupee's value will decrease or rupee's depreciation will be there. What could be the other condition? For example, if investment outflow is there, for example, let's say in these $100 came through someone invested, let's say $40 in the country, but out of any reason XYZ, which we will see in the class, out of any reason XYZ, $30 go back out from the country. They took it back, they pull it back. What will happen? The amount of dollars in the Indian economy will decrease, and it will again lead to rupee depreciation. Agreed or not? Okay. What could be the other factors of the rupee, like what could other things which can impact the dollar in the economy? Let's say if our forex reserves are depleting, if out of any reason I took the action, you understand the forex reserves? Okay. the foreign currencies withheld by the central bank. ठीक है, forex reserves, the amount of currency withheld by the central bank in terms of foreign currencies, in dollar, in other foreign currency. That is nothing but the forex reserves. If this is depleting, then also there will be a rupee depreciation, because the number of dollars in the economy will decrease. Okay, now when you can expect more rupee in the economy, when you can expect more rupee in the economy? First of all, there will be more rupee in the economy if the government is lowering the interest rate. Beta, if let's say, not government, I will say central bank is decreasing the interest rate, what will happen? If there is low rate of interest, people will go to bank to take more money. For example, if earlier the interest rate was, let's say, if earlier the interest rate was 8%, now the interest rate is 5%. What will happen? If it is 5%, people will take more money from the bank. They will borrow more money from the bank. And if they are borrowing more money from the bank, what will happen? This amount will increase in the economy. And if this amount is increasing in the economy, my rupee will further depreciate. And beta, see, if you find it little bit difficult, although I try my best to make it as simple as for you, but agar if you find it difficult, please stay until the end so that you are getting something, because I will give you the handout also, है ना? So those who are maybe very weak in economy, they may feel some pinch of difficulties. That is fine, कोई बात नहीं, आगे वाले टॉपिक के लिए वेट करो, ठीक है? चलो, so if I am saying my interest rate is decreasing, that means more money will be there in the economy and there will be depreciation. What all things? If we are doing the capital expenditure, I will not use the word capital expenditure, we'll just use the word expenditure. If people are doing more expenditure, there will be more rupee in the economy and inflation will be there, hence depreciation will be there. Okay. So what I am trying to give you as a picture, what you have to remember as a thumb rule, if number of rupee in the economy increases, there will be a depreciation. Parallelly, if the dollars are shrinking, then there will be the depreciation. Okay, you get me? Okay. So the news is that we have touched the 2 years ka low in the rupee dollar value. So we hit the 85 ka mark now, which is the lowest in the last 2 years. Now when I talk about the mains ka mindset, that what all questions can be asked from this topic, just give me 1 minute on the board. Either the question will be direct or they will be indirect. When I talk about beta direct questions will be very simple, pretty plain, that tell us the impact of rupee depreciation on India's economy. Yeah, tell us the measures required in order to strengthen the value of India's rupee. Yeah, UPSC will ask you what are the reasons, major reasons for rupee depreciation in the ongoing, let's say, global order. Okay. So these are the direct questions, but there may be some indirect questions. Okay. How the global trade war is impacting the rupee's depreciation or rupee's value and hence the Indian economy. So they are linking two topics of global trade order and rupee depreciation. What I will be dealing right now is I will be dealing the direct plain topics. Okay. And the interlinkages we will be developing when we will be covering, let's say, the next subsequent topic. For example, let's say in the next lecture I covered your global trade war or tariff war. Then I will be linking it with the rupee depreciation if required. Okay. As of now, just keep your mind on a very simple plain things, that what are the reasons for rupee depreciation, impact, that if these are the reasons, what will be the impact of rupee depreciation. Okay. And if we have seen the reasons and the impact, what are the measures required. Okay. Chalo, what you will do, you will write the introduction I1. Please write I1. I hope you remember the last class. For every topic we will be writing some introduction. I1. So this is current context based introduction. ठीक है, please write. Recently India's rupee against the US dollar has breached 85 mark, comma, which is sharpest depreciation in the last 2 years. Which is sharpest depreciation in the last 2 years. Please write. Second introduction type. Now see, whenever you're writing the mains answer, the introduction of the best category will be the current context. That you're telling the examiner that why you are asking this question from me, I know it. I know the current context, that why you are asking this question from me. Now for example, if the current context is not hitting your head, go to the definition. Okay. I2, definition based. Please write. Rupee depreciation refers to the decline in the value of Indian rupee relative to a foreign currency, comma, typically the US dollar, or other global currencies. Acha, one thing, whenever we are dealing with the mains ka topic, for one topic try to keep a single page. Okay. Do not make the class notes, just try to be very short, very suggestive. In introduction you can write the complete thing, but whenever you are writing the point, just try to wind up the entire topic within a single page. Okay. Chalo. So we have seen 2 types of introduction for this topic. Now let's come to the reason for rupee depreciation. Okay. See, for this thing, if the rupee is depreciating, beta, look at the board, do not write anything. Pehle samajh lo, I will give you the time to write or take a note. When the rupee is depreciating, what do you think could be the reasons? I have already given you the overview. That either this will depreciate or either this will depreciate the rupee. What is this? This is nothing but whatever we are doing domestically. Some Indian actions will depreciate the rupee. For example, India may, if there is an inflation rate, don't you think that will lead to rupee depreciation? Earlier, let's say the same apples we were getting in 1 rupee, but the same apple now out of the inflation, we are getting in, let's say, 1.2 rupees. Don't you think that will depreciate the rupee value? Although the amount is not increasing of the rupee per se, but the inflation is being now the cause of rupee depreciation. The value of rupee will decline. So there could be factors which are domestic and there will be factors which are global. It is not always that we are doing anything then only the rupee will depreciate. If US is performing better, if someone wants to go into the US, if someone wants to invest in the US, then also the rupee will depreciate, irrespective of any activity in India. I give you the argument, right? If there is better investment opportunity in US, people will take out money from India and they will invest that money in US. And if their picking up or taking out the money from India, that money will be in dollars. And if they are taking out dollars from the economy, that means there will be less dollars, there will be scarcity of the dollars, and the value of dollar will increase. If the value of dollar is increasing, the value of rupee will decrease. You get my point? Okay. So if you want to write this, you can write this. या ये नहीं लिखना, ठीक है, चलो बाद में देख लेना. So there will be factors which are domestic in nature. First of all, first we will see the domestic factors or the reasons, then we will see the global reasons of depreciation. The domestic reason, first and foremost, domestic reason is rising inflation. I was purchasing one apple in 1 rupee. Now I am purchasing the same apple in, let's say, 2 rupees out of inflation. That means my value of rupee has decreased. Okay. So the inflation in India's economy is one of the cause of the depreciation. So your first cause is rising inflation. Then trade deficit leading to fiscal deficit. For example, do you all know the meaning of trade deficit? For example, let's say we are importing commodities of value rupees 100 or the $100, but we are exporting the commodities of only $80. That means we need $20 more. That is nothing but the trade deficit. And if we need $20 more, we need to finance it. So that finance, what we will do, we will take a loan from the IMF, or we will take the loan from the World Bank, or maybe some other international institutions, or maybe some other agencies. So there are various categories of loans which we take. Now all of them in nutshell will lead to fiscal deficit. Are you getting my point? Okay. So this trade deficit of India will decline our forex reserves first of all, and in order to fulfill those forex reserves, we'll take some loans, leading to fiscal deficit of the country. Okay. Then we have weak domestic markets. What do I mean by weak domestic markets? Suraj, what do I mean by weak domestic markets? Our markets are not competitive enough at the global level, right? So we are not able to export much. We are not able to export much. If we are not exporting, then how the dollars will come into the economy? If the dollar is not coming into the economy, shortage of dollar will be there. If shortage or the scarcity of the dollar is there will be depreciation. Are you getting my point? Okay. Then there will be some global factors. For example, one of the major global factor for this, 2 years ka the record which we broke, one of the major factor is the FedEx tight monetary policy. What they are doing better right now, they are increasing the interest rates. Now if the US has decided, or the US ka bank has decided to increase the interest rate, what will happen? What will happen? There will be more investment in US, because they are giving better opportunity. Whenever you are giving more interest rate to the companies, they will be more inclined into the investment in your country. So what US is doing, US ka Fed Reserve, like FedEx or the Bank of US, they are increasing the interest rate. Now if they are increasing the interest rate, their economy is being more attractive for the investments. People want to invest there more. So what they will do, they will pick out the investment from India and they will try to invest in the US market. So US dollar will strengthen. Now global portfolio out. अभी इतना लिख लो, फिर इस पे आते हैं. Just please write what you will do on a page of on a sheet of paper. You will make two arms. First is domestic reasons. Second is global reasons. Others Kashyap, yes, but this is one of the reason of inflation. This is not the only reason of inflation. ठीक है? Others you are right, है ना? Online beta, are you comfortable so far? Just write until US dollar strength and global portfolio outflows. Then we'll continue. Make two arrows like this. You need to write the domestic reasons, global reasons. Done. Chalo, look at the board. Keep your pens down. See, global portfolio outflow is nothing but investment. So right now investment is flowing out from the India's economy. Why? Because there is FedEx interest rate hike leading to US dollar strengthening, and hence people are investing more in the US economy or the dollar based economy per se. Now apart from this there are other reasons like geopolitical tensions. For example, there is a, let's say, Israel wala war, hai na? Israel Palestine war, then you have Ukraine Russia war. So what is happening in that process, beta? In that process the price of crude oil is getting increased. What is happening? Price of crude oil is getting increased, and believe me, right now India imports 80% of its total demand of crude oil. 80% of the total demand. And if that 80% of total demand or the total imported oil ka price is increasing, don't you think we have to give more dollars to them? And if we are giving more dollars to them, what will happen to India's economy? It will, or what will happen to India's rupee value? It will depreciate. So because of geopolitical tensions, like let's say example Ukraine Russia conflict is leading to increase in crude oil price rises. Okay. Next, geopolitical risks. For example, tariff threats by the US economy. Now if there are tariff wars going on between the economies, then obviously people will look forward to the safer economies, the economies which are more powerful in nature. So they will invest in those economies. Now there are cases they will take out money also, because these tariff wars, some, you know, you might have heard news of the US economy that they lost some value of money in their particular, you know, stock market. That is fine, but try to understand other perspective of the story. If there is a trade war, let's say between US China, or if the India is impacted from the trade war, if we are on the impact side, okay, if US will, you know, impose the tariffs, or if US will initiate a trade war with India or maybe with China, and if we are on the receiving end, the companies at India will become insecure. By suppose you have opened a company of, let's say, bikes, motorcycles in India. Now you realize, you know, the US is taking the counter measures on India in terms of tariff war, or they are increasing the rate of interest on the commodities when we are exporting to US. You will feel insecure and you will try to move your company out of India, or maybe the subsidiaries out of India, or at least you will ensure that I am not going to bring the new investment to India, at least in this domain. Okay? So the tariff threats or the tariff insecurities right now, which is emerging out of global trade war, is, you know, pulling out dollars from India's economy. Then this is a major reason, global economic slowdown. if you ask me, sir, what is the most important reason out of this? Now this is personal, है ना? This is not something that this will be a first point in the mains answer writing. This is personal. As far as I'm following the newspaper, right now there are waves of global economic slowdown. Now when this happens, it take a major toll on the exports, especially of the developing countries. And India is one of the developing country. So if it will take toll on our exports, if we are exporting less, again we are not able to bring more dollars in the economy, and that is leading to the rupee depreciation. So for you, this single page will define everything. If we are having less dollars in the economy, rupee will depreciate. If we are having more money in the economy, rupee will depreciate. And whatever factors is leading to this or this will lead to the depreciation of the rupee. Do I make sense? Okay. You write these points, then we'll continue. Please make notes in the class itself. Do not keep anything for your home. Beta, FedEx tight monetary policy. You replace this word with FedEx interest rate hike. So what US central bank has done, beta, they have increased the interest rate. Now when some central bank of some big nation increase the interest rate, then companies are more inclined towards the investment in those countries because they're getting higher interest rate in those countries. Okay? If you are saving your money in those countries, you're getting a better rate of return. So that is why this is leading to the global portfolio outflows. If someone was investing in India, they're trying to pull up some funds from India and then trying to invest that fund in the US economy. And whenever they will pull up fund, they will pull up in dollars, and hence the rupee value will depreciate. Very simple. You replace this word tight monetary policy. Maybe you are not done with the revisions of economy. It's totally fine. ठीक है, अभी नहीं समझ में आ रहा, आ जाएगा धीरे धीरे. I cannot go into the economy as a subject. That's the only constraint. So replace this with interest rate hikes. Done. Shall we move ahead? Impact. Now we saw the reasons that why the rupee is getting depreciated. The major reasons are either the amount of rupee is getting increased in the economy, or the flow of rupee is increased in the economy, or the dollars has decreased in the economy. Major. And that is out of some reasons which we have seen. Now it will lead to some impact. What are those impacts? There will be some positive impacts and there will be some negative impacts. Mind you beta, whenever the topic is of this kind in the mains answer writing online, be attentive. Although I will try to address all of it in a single lecture someday on the mains answer writing, but try to be with me for next 1 minute. Whenever the question is asking you what will be the impact of rupees depreciation on India's economy, so the parts of the question, if you remember, I discussed with you the parts of the question. Okay. How many parts are there? Impact of rupee depreciation on Indian economy will have 2 parts here. First, it will be positive impact. Second, it will be negative impact. Just do not end your answer, maybe in the positive impact only and the negative impact only. And believe me, 90% of the aspirants do this mistake in the mains answer writing. Okay. So whenever now the question, if the topic is, let's say the topic could have very much, what I can say, the negative nature, like mob lynching, or fake news. So the impact will always be negative. there could not be anything positive, right, out of it, mob lynching or maybe the fake news. But if the topic is open-ended, like rupee depreciation, you need to think on the positive impact, you need to think on the negative impact, and that is how you have to structure your answer as well. So there will be two parts if the question is coming on the impact of rupee depreciation. First is positive impact. So let's see how the things turn out positively. Even in the rupee depreciation, there is some silver lining. There is some positivity, that there are some positive outcomes. What are those? First, export competitiveness. How the exports are being more competitive? For example, see, for example, I am exporting, let's say, Apple. I wanted to export 100 apples. Now for 100 apples, when I'm exporting 100 apples, let's say I am getting $100. But beta, when you are an Indian and you are exporting something, you will read the rupee in money, you will need the amount in rupee. Let's say case 1 or scenario 1. When $1 is equals to 1 rupee, how many rupees you will be getting? 100. Now I am saying case 2. When $1 is equals to 1.5 rupees, $1 is equals to 1.5 rupees, that the rupee has depreciated. How many rupees you will be getting in return? 150. Here out of rupee depreciation, when the value of rupee, here 1 is equals to $1. Here 1.5 rupee is equals to $1. That means the rupee has depreciated. But you are getting more amount as an exporter. That means you will be having the tendency of exporting more, because you are getting more benefited from the outcome. Do I make myself clear? Okay. So our export competitiveness will increase. Then it will encourage remittances. The amount which we are getting from the foreign countries, those will be more in number, or the remittances which we are, for example, if the relative of a person, of an Indian is living somewhere, let's say son of a mother, right, he is living in, let's say, some foreign country, let's say Qatar. So what will be the tendency of that son? To send the money to his mother. Now when the rupee is depreciated, earlier he was sending, let's say, the same example, earlier he was sending $100. He realized my mother is getting only 100 rupees. But now if I'm sending $100, my mother will be getting 150 rupees. So she will be investing more in India, maybe in gold or maybe in land or maybe some other assets. Are you getting my point? So the son will be more motivated to send more remittances to his country if the depreciation is there. So the remittances will increase in the economy. You get me? So first of all, export. The second is remittances. So exports will increase, remittances will increase. Then it will improve domestic production. Anyone in the class will tell me how the domestic production can improve from the depreciation? Domestic production means, beta, people will be more inclined towards establishing a factory, or maybe a what I can say, the manufacturing unit. Tell me, if the value of rupee is depreciating, how someone will be motivated to establish a factory? Exporting more is one of the factor. So first factor is export. Since we are exporting more, we need something to produce, or the production will increase in the domestic country. But the other reason is, beta, since the depreciation is there, imports will decrease. Export बढ़ रहा है, but imports will decrease because the imports will be more costly. The same thing which you can purchase, let's say the same thing which you can purchase in 100 rupees. Now you have to purchase the same 100 apples in 150 rupees. So that will be more costly, imports will be costly. So what will be the tendency of the domestic players? They will be producing more in order to counter the imports. In order to counter the imports. That if we are producing something in house, if we are producing the same apples in house, we need to import less. And now since people are struggling, in order to import the things, the domestic demand will increase. So this will not be direct. What is happening? The demand, domestic demand, or the demand from the domestic companies will increase, and this will further lead to the production, and this production will counter the imports in turn. Are you getting my point? And what is achieved after this? If we are able to increase the domestic production, what will achieve? What we will achieve? We will achieve the larger objective of Make in India. So can you see the positivity of the depreciation? Let me come to the negatives also, but there are some positives in the depreciation, that our domestic industries will have the competitive edge. Okay? First, because of the export competitiveness. Second, because of the demand from the domestic industries will increase. So if people are not able to purchase it from the, let's say, foreign countries, they will put up the demand to the domestic market. And if there is a demand, there will be the production. If there is a production, we are achieving the larger goal of Make in India. Okay. So domestic production will increase, and this will support Make in India. And again, it will boost tourism. How? People will have more paying, the capabilities. Let's say, if someone was bringing $100 to India, if $1 was equal to 1 rupee, he was able to spend 100 rupees. Now I'm saying $1 is equal to 1.5 rupees. He will be spending 150 rupees. So he is having more spending capabilities. So he will be inclined towards coming to India as a tourist destination. Okay. So these are some of the positives. Please write it down. Yes, Venkat. Yes, you're right. Very good. Nitesh, Siddharth. Allow me a minute. ठीक है. Now we will come to the negative impacts. ठीक है. See, as I told you, exports will increase. But what will happen to the imports? They will be more costlier. If exports are cheaper, imports will be more costlier. And that is where we use a word imported inflation. What is imported inflation? That out of the costly imports, we are having the inflation in the country. For example, I gave you the that I said 80% of the crude oil demand in India is being imported. So if we are purchasing a costly crude oil, then we will selling it costly in the country. If we are selling it costly in the country, don't you think that there is an inflation in the country? Let's say we are selling the petrol earlier at 90 rupees per liter. Now, since the crude oil prices have increased, we are selling the same petrol at rupees 100 per liter. So that is nothing but the imported inflation. Due to imports, we are facing a phenomenon of imported inflation. So costlier imports will be there. For example, we are importing crude oil, we are importing electronics, especially from the, let's say, Southeast Asian countries, China, etc., etc. Then we are importing the heavy machinery in India right now. So all it will lead to costlier imports, or the depreciation will lead to costlier imports. And since these will be costly, it will lead to inflation, and most of it will be imported inflation. Okay. So for example, I told you, if the imports are costly, the difference in amount, how we will be paying that difference in amount? Will be borrowing it, so it will lead to deficits. Okay. Let's say we are now, let's say, importing the same commodity of same amount, but we are paying more, 5 rupees more. So that 5 rupees, extra 5 rupees which are paying more, will be financed from the deficits, leading to higher trade deficits and current account deficits. And in turn, our forex reserves will also decline. Forex reserves will the central bank will decline. Then high debt servicing cost. What is debt servicing cost? Just understand one thing. No, this is an important term which is important from the prelims perspective also, beta. Debt servicing cost. For example, if India has a debt of rupees $1,000, and if depreciation is there, let's say if 1 rupee was equals to $1, I am going hypothetical so that everyone can understand. Okay, you all know $1 is equals to 85 rupees. I am saying 1 rupee is equals to $1. Then India will be paying how much rupees to service this debt? 1000 rupees will be paying. But now I am saying $1 is equals to 2 rupees. So how much amount will India will be paying now? 2000 to service this debt. Hence my debt servicing cost will increase. And we all know that we have a decent amount of public debt. I will be taking a topic on the debt. There I will address all sort of debts in the country. Right now do not want to make it complex. Okay. So we have the high debt servicing cost. Then impact on outbound travel and education. Obviously the education for Indians will be costly. We have to spend more rupees then. And when we are going to travel out, maybe in the foreign countries, the tourism will be costly. Okay? So travel and education, or the tourism and education, will be costly. Then investor sentiment. Obviously, if your rupee is depreciating, the investor, beta बहुत important point है, and this I will repeat at least 10 times in your entire batch, entire course, in multiple topics. Investor sentiment. Whenever the investor starts losing confidence in your economy, at that time investor will start pulling more money from the economy, and that is the point where you need to either stabilize your economy or your economy will crash. And that this recently happened in India. We have seen the stock market crash and all those things, right? So whenever investor starts losing the confidence, that is the time your economy will face some difficulties or start facing some difficulty. Okay. So this is the impact, negative impact of rupee depreciation. So investor will start, the sentiments will be in the negative tone when the rupee is depreciating. Hence it may in long term impact our stock market. Just write down these points, then we'll continue. Negative impacts. Done? Okay. Did you remember this? I told you that if we are lowering the interest rate beta, domestically, if we are lowering the interest rate, what will happen? People will tend to borrow more money. If there is more money flow in the economy, what will happen? Money will depreciate. But what if I increase the interest rate? Don't you think I can counter the US economy? I'm also increasing my interest rate. The investment in my domestic country will be more attractive now. And at the same time, I am decreasing the flow of money in the economy parallelly. Okay? Now, what I am trying to make a point in front of you, we are done with this. We need to look forward to the new next thing, which is nothing but way forward. So when I talk about beta way forward, there will be some monetary policy measures like interest rate hikes, forex interventions. Let's say if there is a let's say depreciation, if you know or don't know, recently around $70 billion RBI infused in India's economy, just for the sake that our rupee should not depreciate much and we should control the investor sentiment. मैं थोड़ा सा एक्सपर्ट वाली साइड पे ओपिनियंस आपको दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है. So what our bank did, beta, our bank infused the amount of US dollars in the economy in order to control the rupee depreciation. So forex interventions could control in a short term. So whenever you are looking forward to any of the way forward now, how you will improve the condition or what measures you need to improve the things. Generally, this is one of the very important use tools. What are the short-term measures? What are the long-term measures? But do you think that forex intervention is a long-term measure? No. There will be point of time where RBI will be exhausted with the forex reserves, and always it is not in the national interest when you know put your forex reserves at stake, because you need those reserves for the emergency conditions. You need, you know, crude oil, maybe you need weapons right now in the current situations from the other countries. So you need that, you know, forex reserves in order to deal with all those conditions. So this is a short term measure. Similarly, interest rate hikes could bring more investment towards the India's. Then currency swap agreement. Now this is new for you, those who are very new or those who are giving the first attempt. But you will see many currency swap agreements right now in which India has either concluded or is in talk with. For example, let's say I will talk about the SAARC currency swap agreement. So whatever SAARC countries are there, they have evolved with a mechanism that whatever trade we will do internally, maybe some part of it. Let's say if I want to do a trade with Bangladesh or maybe some other country or maybe Sri Lanka, okay. What I'm saying, if I'm trying to do the trade between the two countries, we will not do the trade in the dollars. We will do that trade in the domestic currencies. है ना? So you give some currencies of yours to us, we are giving some currency of us to you. That is nothing but currency swap. So that we are not much dependent on the dollar. And if we are not much dependent on the dollar, the spending of the dollar will decrease. Hence my depreciation will not be there. Okay? So currency swap agreements is something which government is exploring parallelly. Then we have inflation control measures, tight monetary policies, etc. etc. Okay? Then fiscal policy measures. Monetary मतलब बैंक साइड, फिजिकल मतलब गवर्नमेंट साइड, ठीक है. Reducing import dependency with measures like Make in India, ठीक है, with measures like this production linked incentive schemes. So this I will be dealing in a separate lecture, ठीक है, what all schemes and interventions the government is doing. पूरा day long lecture लेंगे हम लोग इस पे. Right now just understand one thing, if I am able to reduce the imports, I will be able to, you know, deal with the rupee depreciation. Similarly, boosting exports. Then this is increased capital expenditure. Increased capital expenditure. This is third point. This is first, this is second, this is third. Increased capital expenditure. How increased capital expenditure will lead to, what I can say, you know, control on the depreciation. Although this is something which is debatable. समझना. I am saying increased capital expenditure will control depreciation. For those who don't know, beta, take an example of making an highway or road or maybe the airport. Let's say construction of highway is nothing but capital expenditure done by the government. How this will lead to control of depreciation? Beta, this clarity you need in mains. Whatever I am telling you through the arguments, ये ultra clarity लगेगी when you are dealing with the mains answers. And don't worry, stay with me until the January का month. Mains आपका sorted है, ठीक है? What I am saying, how capital expenditure मतलब construction of a highway or maybe, you know, whenever we are making the assets, that is nothing but the capital expenditure. How capital expenditure will lead to control the depreciation? And I am saying this is debatable. First thing, I am putting an argument in front of you, beta. If I am constructing an highway, I am spending money, and if I am spending money, there is more money in the economy, and if there is more money in the economy, we have seen there will be the depreciation. But there is another counter argument, and if you are writing in this motion, you have to write this, that how the capital expenditure will control the depreciation. whenever we are spending on the capital expenditure, the efficiency of the economy increases. Efficiency of the economy. For example, let's say if I want to know the transportation cost, don't you think construction of highway will reduce my transportation cost? So the efficiency of the economy is increasing, and if this efficiency is increasing, my cost of the product will come down. Cost of production will come down. The same thing which I was producing in 110 rupees, now I am able to produce in 108, including the transportation cost. If this is happening, my imports will increase, don't you think? And if my imports are getting increased, beta, then my depreciation will decrease. So these are two solid sides of arguments which you have to develop on a sheet of paper. Nevertheless, when I am saying capital expenditure will control the depreciation, I mean with this side of argument. Okay? And this is also valid, don't worry. So there will be two things, opposite factors working in tandem. Okay? No issues. So creating a favorable tax regimes. Now, how you think a favorable tax regime will control the depreciation? When I was saying favorable tax regime, see, right now many of the investors or the investor sentiment are not aligned with the country's tax regime. Someday you are imposing a new tax, someday you are increasing a tax rate, your tax rates are not competitive with the other countries. So those are the current issues. So many of the foreign what I can say, the investor or the companies, they want a tax regime which is more attractive, more favorable. And if we are able to achieve this, just for example, whatever is the corporate tax, if we are able to lower the corporate tax, don't you think the investment will increase in the India? Obviously, okay, because they will be able to make more profits. So this will indirectly lead to foreign investments. है ना? Please note it down. I'm giving you 1 minute. Online, are you comfortable, beta? See, sometimes if you are in the first attempt now, or I mean, if you're not done with the subject yet, you may feel some sort of, what I can say, the uncomfort, but don't worry. I mean, if not the entire thing, you will be able to get some part of it. And whenever you will be doing it in your subject, maybe the basics of, let's say, capital expenditure, fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, you will fall in line. Okay? So don't worry. And believe me, whatever you do in your foundation classes, right now whatever you are doing with me is something which will help you in mains or to fetch the marks. Okay? So the basic knowledge you should have in your foundation, but the advanced thing, whenever you comes to the final marks making thing, which defines your rank, is something which you will be doing with me. Okay? बेटा समझ के लिखना, ठीक है? If I ask you favorable tax regime, what I'm asking you to do? Decrease the corporate tax and make taxation or improve the transparency. Make how to extend the arguments, this we will learn. Abhi I am just making you write the points. ठीक है, we have to extend it. See, acha, just allow me a 1 minute on the board. I told you in the very starting of the lecture about this, so I am working upon this right now. ठीक है, argument making or arguments I am giving you along with my lecture delivery. It will be there in your handouts also. ठीक है, do not worry at all. And then on value addition we will work. So right now we are working on the very first part of the answer writing, capital expenditure. So you will be now explaining whenever you are doing the answers, whenever you are writing the answers, capital expenditure, semicolon, then you will be building up your argument, will lead to increased efficiency, hence more imports. ठीक है, it will come with practice and you need to listen to me very carefully, and I will give you this in handout, don't worry, है ना, I will give you this in handout. अरे I perfectly planned your batch. Shall we move ahead? Now we are coming to the next topic of micro credit. Take up a new page, and a request, do not bring copy to my class, bring loose A4 sheets. What we will do is, now whenever we are done with the entire batch, we'll place the same topics together, and then you will see the beauty in your preparation. Okay, when you're finding the same topics of social justice together, economy together, polity together, governance together, that is where you will feel the confidence. So just try to bring the loose A4 sheet like this. Okay, like this, so that you can always keep them. Okay, take a new sheet and then we'll start the topic of micro credit. Okay. What do I mean by micro credit? Before that, again let me dive you in the story. Since we have time, it's fine. Let's see the things with the core basics, है ना बेटा. Just understand the fundamentals with me, ठीक है, so that you can bring the arguments in your answers. Fundamental सीखेंगे हम, जैसे हमने देखा rupee depreciation का, हमने fundamental सीखे. That's how the rupee depreciation fundamentally working. Either the amount of money will increase or the amount of dollar will decrease, will lead to the rupee depreciation. That is it. That is it. ठीक है. Same we will see the fundamentals of microcredit. Now, see, for an economy, if I want the growth of the economy or the economic growth, what I need income of the individual should increase, है ना. Let's say if you might have seen the GDP calculation ka formulas. Have you seen it? Have you done? How many of you have done GDP calculation formulas? Okay. So in those formulas, in one of those formulas, one of the basic element is income. Okay, we add up the income to calculate the GDP. So I am bringing the same argument that if I increase the income of the individuals, I will be increasing the growth of the economy. Now, in order to increase the income, tell me what are the modes of the income. Just keep your eyes, close your eyes, or what I can say, close your eyes and try to think how people are generating the income. Either they are generating it through jobs. You are doing some job, or let's say your maybe family member, or maybe some of them are doing some job. So they are doing job and they are generating the income. First thing. Second thing is they are doing something of their own, maybe shop, maybe factory, maybe company, and they are the owner of it. So I am using a word here, business. They may be entrepreneur, anything. Second thing. The third thing, beta, is is primary sector, agriculture, mining. ठीक है? For example, a farmer is there. So I will use it very raw. I will write agriculture only here. Agriculture only here. Anything else? No. Everything will be a sub part of either jobs or business or a farmer owning a land. Okay. A farmer owning a land is sometimes a business only, that is fine, but let me keep it in the separate bracket. So if I want to increase the income, either I need to increase the salary, or I need to increase the number of businesses, or I need to increase the production in the agriculture. Agreed or not? Now, if I want to increase any of it, what I need? Beta, first of all, for business, what are the 4 factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Everything is fine. To bring the other 2, maybe land and labor, what you need? Capital. That means there is one fundamental thing. If I want to boost all of them, I need capital or credit. If I want to do some business, I need capital or credit. If I want to improve the production in the agriculture, I need capital or credit. Let's take a pause now and think, who will give this credit? Who will give this credit in general? Although you can take the credit maybe from the family, maybe from the friends or the informal sector, but majorly the credit will be given by the banks. Will they give you the credit? Will they give you the credit? Banks. Can you take the credit from the bank? You. Can you take the credit from the bank? What land do you have on your name? No land. Is home on your name? Why bank will give you the credit? When you will go to the bank, they will ask you what assets you have. Always remember one thing. Bank gives you the credit if you have the collateral. Collateral could be land, could be some, let's say, this maybe another gold assets, like anything. Okay? So they will need a collateral. For example, even if you are getting your education done, they will ask degree. That for the education loans also, you have to keep your degree as a collateral. Not in 100% of the cases, but in majority of the loans, right? What I am trying to make a point is, if you don't have collateral, will you get the loan? Will bank give you the loan easily? I'm using the word easily. No. So if some young person, I'm taking your example now, although you are preparing for the UPSC, I am saying if some young person or youth, I will use as a word, want to start anything new, and if they want loan, will bank give them the loan? Sir, हमारे माताजी पिताजी generally they don't put their land or the home on our name. Generally, with the patriarchal mindset of the country, the assets are owned by the male of the country. Do you agree with me or not? The majority of the assets right now in the country are owned by the male, and you won't believe me, in the country only 2% of the assets right now are owned by the female. 98% of the assets are owned by the male. So first of all, leave about the male and female. Youth or the young people do not have any asset to their name, so they will face difficulty in getting the loan. Other than youth, women. As I already told you, the women of the country just own 2% of the assets. And if they don't have the assets, and believe me, they may have gold or maybe the other things, but they don't want to put it at the mortgage. They have the sentiments attached to all those, jewelry. So they, first of all, don't have the assets with them. Hence, women of the country are facing issues in getting the loan. Then, next two. Huh? Exactly. Farmers. अच्छा, farmers तो assets हैं यार, farmers के पास तो land है, then why they are not getting easy loans? The major problem right now, beta, अच्छा, understand the gravity of the problem. Everyone on the board, understand the gravity of the problem. Right now, more than 50% of the country's population is into agriculture. More than 50% of the India's population is into agriculture, and the agriculture is not having growth at all. It's hardly growing at a rate of 1% or maximum 2%. And that is where the 50% of the country's population is not able to contribute to the growth of the country. If the sector is not growing, they are not contributing the growth of the country. And sir, if that sector is not performing well, do you think they will be able to generate the demand in the economy? Do you think they will go to the market to purchase the maybe the flats, or maybe the heavy machineries, or maybe the ACs, or maybe all those things? Since they do not have the growth, since they do not have the decent incomes, they will not be generating the demand, and that is hampering the growth of the entire nation at large. If demand is not there, it will hamper the secondary sector also. It will hamper the manufacturing sector also. Because 50% of the country's population is not generating the demand directly. What I am saying, right now, if I consider that 50% of the population, I am saying they are struggling to get the loans from the bank despite of having the assets. What is the major reason? The major reason we will see someday in the agriculture wala topic is non-digitalization of land records. Although they have the land, but they do not have the land records. They do not have the entitlement. Although we are working with different schemes like Swamitva, if you might have heard right now, but still many of the people or many of the farmers are not having proper land records. Hence, that asset with them is not working properly, and hence they are facing issues in getting the loans. Who else? SCs and STs, vulnerable sections. Other than this, you will see the people who are economically weak. For example, if there is someone, let's say if there is a street vendor, he was operating a stall of samosa. Let's say there was a stall of samosa. Stall is working great. Now he realized that he want to open a shop, but for that he needs loan. But since he is economically weak, he do not have any collateral with him. So what about that person who can improve the standard of living, who can contribute to the economy, who can have what I can say, the much better income levels, is not able to do so just because of the absence of collateral. So economic weaker sections like street vendors. Okay. Now there is a term known as social contract. How many of you heard about the term social contract? Social contract in very layman language I will tell you, very layman language. I will not go into the depth. Social contract में government or the state has the responsibility towards the weaker sections, or the sections who are not able to get the benefits of the facilities across the country. So what will happen now, since these people are not having the collateral, government will intervene and they will either make some institutions which will give them the loan without the collateral. What I'm saying, either the government will intervene, they will make some institutions, separate institutions other than the bank, who will be giving these people the collateral free loans, or else government will make some norms and rules for these banks to give some certain percentage of loans to the these sections. Okay. Or else government will bring some schemes that you give the loan to these people, whatever is the collateral is nothing but the government security. Are you getting my point? So government secures the bank ki if there is any default, we will come into the picture and we will pay your loan, but you give them the loan. So either government will bring some schemes or the institutions, or will bring them the loan. Have you heard about priority sector lending norms? Have you heard about priority sector lending norms? How many of you have PSL norms? नहीं सुना? उठाओ एक बार, bluntly उठाना पड़ेगा. No. Okay, so you are not done with your economy yet, if I can sense. Okay, no issues. In PSL norms, beta, government has made it mandatory to service at least the agriculture sector. So we have the norms right now in the picture. We have different schemes. You might have heard about the Mudra Yojana. Have you heard about the Mudra Yojana? Then there is SHG linked scheme, where we are linking SHGs with the banks. Then we have the institutions. NABARD you might have heard, है ना? So those are nothing but the institutions. So what government is trying to do? Government is trying to honor its social contract by intervening either through institutions or schemes or norms for the banks. Government cannot dictate to the banks कि भाई you give the loan without the collateral. Government cannot do that. Banks could be a private, could be a public entity, and they will work on their own conditions. So government will see some measures to honor both them and the banks. If you are lending 100 rupees, give 20 to these people, so that we can balance the social contract. Do I make sense? Now, whenever the credit is done through the without collateral and in small amounts, what I am saying, generally without collateral, generally I am using the word generally without collateral and in a small amount, that credit is known as microcredit. And if microcredit is there in the economy, if these people are getting the loan, here 50% of the entire population is women. Youth is nothing but the future of India's growth. Agriculture is 50% of, more than 50% of India's population into agriculture. And then we have the other vulnerable sections. And if we are giving them the microcredits, they will be bringing the, what I can say, the trickle down thing to the economic growth. Do you get me? So that is nothing but the entire clarity on the topic. Now we will deep dive with the exam perspective. So why we are seeing this topic? First of all, understand one thing. Whenever you see in the news that 50 years ho gaye hain, ya 100 years has been done, or maybe the 10 years are the things is there. For example, Niti Aayog. Okay. So approximately we will be having 10 years of that particular institute. Similarly, for microfinance institutions, 50 years ka what I can say, the milestone we have achieved. So hence this topic is important for us. So what was the context? That Seva Bank started in 1974, has completed 50 years, and it was the country's first microfinance institution. है ना? Now, whenever you will be dealing with microfinance as a topic, beta, you will be seeing a word SHG, self-help group. So just understand one thing. If you are very new, don't worry, I will deal with all these topics in my governance ka lecture. आगे होगा. See, if there is any individual, if he is going to a bank to take the loan, what bank will do? Yeah, I don't trust you that whether you will be able to pay back or not. I don't trust you. Why I will trust you? You are economically weak. You don't have any business with you. you don't own any asset, why I will trust you to give the loan? So I will not trust you that easily. But let's say if 20 of the people are going in the group to the bank, all of them are weak, but all of them are putting their guarantee that I take guarantee of the other 19, and all of them are taking the guarantee of the other 19, and they are trying to start a business together. Understand? So if 20 people are going to the bank where everyone is taking the guarantee of the other 19 and they are starting a business together, highly likely the tendency of the giving loan to them increase. And whenever such groups are going to the bank to take a loan, where the collateral is nothing but their group itself, that is nothing but self-help group. It could be a group of women, it could be a group of men, it could be a mixed group also. Okay. Chalo. So this you can see a SHG working. Okay. Then in this topic, what we have to see, first of all, what is the significance of the microcredit, what we are achieving after giving the microcredit. Now if I've given the context, this context, I think there should be some points in your head that, sir, the significance will be youth empowerment, the significance will be women empowerment, the significance will be agricultural growth, doubling farmer income, the significance will be honoring the social contract. So the things are not pretty easy in front of you whenever you are seeing to a topic, right? So first we will see the significance, then the issues in microcredit. That if it is this good, why we are facing the issues and what issues we are facing. That is what we will see. Then government initiatives, that in order to honor the microcredit, what government initiatives have been there. Done. Then we will see the way forward, that what else we can do in order to improve the microcredit ka condition, because we all know the arguments are very solid. Youth, future of the country; women, 50% of the entire population; farmers, 50%, again more than 50% of the entire population is into agriculture. Then as per the social contract of the, what I can say, the state, we need to ensure that these vulnerable sections are also, you know, upgrading. So we will see, sorry, this has to be conclusion. First introduction, then in end we will see the conclusion. Please write the I1, introduction 1, I1. I1. If I have a job, that is also kind of collateral. No sir, हाँ beta, when you have a job, although it is not a collateral, but you get a loan easily on your same way. For example, even if I am making a SHG, then there will be less chances of default, right? Same when you are doing the job, the banks take your this ITR and all those things, salary slip, okay? So you are, there is less tendency of you to default because you are doing the job, okay? Although it is not a collateral. ठीक है, please write introduction 1. Recently this self-employed women's association Seva Bank, तो लिखा है recently Seva Bank started in 1974 comma completed 50 years of microfinance institution in India. 50 years of microfinance institution in India. IT we will write now, introduction to this is definition based, okay? So we will be writing a definition of microcredit. Microcredit is the extension of very small loans to deprived borrowers to deprived borrowers borrowers to deprived borrowers who typically lack collateral who typically lack collateral who typically lack collateral. Beta, what we will do is just understand one thing. If you remember, I told you whenever you are doing the answer writing, you need these value additions, right? For these category of topics, the value addition tools are generally data, some sort of examples, some sort of case studies and committees for these topics. First I will explain the points, then I will give you the value addition, ठीक है, in the end, so that you are able to write it अच्छे से. चलो, first is significance, need, importance or benefits. Beta, do not write anything, look at the board. The question may come from, you know, any, what I can say, the will come from any of these words. Question may ask you the significance, question may ask you the importance, the need, the benefits. Don't you agree with me? The major baseline will remain the same. Okay? You have to just put the same thing under the different heading, whatsoever it is. Okay? So when I talk about the significance, there will be first of all social significance. As you all know that microcredits, especially through the form of SHGs, are giving majorly to the women, and if that is done, women entrepreneurship will be promoted in the country. So what we are doing, we are promoting women entrepreneurship through the microcredit. If that is there, don't you think this will lead to the women empowerment? Because women will have the financial independence. If women have the financial independence, this will lead to women empowerment. And this in turn, if I'm mixing both of them, women and the agriculture sector, if the woman in the agricultural household is getting a loan, and if they are doing anything, see, if you might have done your agriculture as a topic, you might have heard about the word disguised unemployment. What is happening? If this is a piece of land, beta, if this is a piece of land, if two people can, you know, what I can say, then cultivate this piece of land, right now entire family of 5 people are doing the same task. That means 3 more people are extra employed for the same piece of land. So those 3 people are doing the disguised employment. Okay. Now what we can do with the microcredit, we can pull up those 3 extra people and they then can start their own venture. And there are lots of case studies I will discuss with you in which women have successfully started SHGs of maybe, you know, what you can say, pickle industries, papad industry, maybe, you know, mats and all those things. So we can stop the feminization of agriculture. Right now more women are entering into the feminization out of disguised unemployment. So we can pull them out and we can then give them microcredit and we can help them start their own businesses, either independently or maybe through the SHGs, self-help groups. Then if this is there, don't you think rural development will be honored? If you are giving more credit to the agriculture sector, more credit to the rural women, then in turn it will lead to more income levels in the rural areas. If there is more income in the rural areas, rural development or the rural growth will be there. So see how the things are interlinked. Now this you have to write as a separate points when you are doing the answer writing. That is the beauty of answer writing. Things are interlinked, but you have to write them as a separate points. Okay? Then this will lead to social empowerment. You can either write it or skip it. Okay? All of it is nothing but the social empowerment of the vulnerable section. Now, if all of them are empowered, you have given them the what I can say, the microcredit, all of them are empowered, they will generate more income. If they are generating more income for them and for the country, what will happen on the social front? First of all, poverty will decrease, hunger will decrease, they will be able to purchase food for themselves, है ना? Then suicides will also decrease, especially farmer suicides. ठीक है? So every 4 minutes right now in the country we have a single farmer suicide. That is the stage. So we can tackle all those problems if we are giving microcredit to the stakeholders. ठीक है? Now let's see the economic benefits. So if this is happening, income levels are increasing. इधर देखो, if income levels are increasing, don't you think unemployment will decrease? Everything is interlinked. Don't you think unemployment decrease? If unemployment is decreasing, income levels are increasing, don't you think GDP growth will increase? Same, I have made the points there. Agricultural development, doubling of farmer income, this is a keyword. Although we had the target of 2022, we never achieved it, and now we don't know the new target. Okay? So that is how we are working upon it. But nevertheless, when you are giving the UPSC exam, you cannot be that critical. You will just use the word that this can help us in doubling the farmers income. Just use the keyword. Okay? Which committee you gave this? Ashok Dalwai. With this all we will see. Okay? It will reduce the unemployment rate. Very important point, financial inclusion will increase. Are beta, whenever you are giving credit to someone, if you are giving some loan to someone, obviously you will not give it in the cash right now. It like provisions were there earlier. Earlier banks used to give it in cash, but after this, DBT, Aadhaar and all those jam terminity, if you don't know, don't worry, we will deal with it. Financial inclusion is being promoted by the government, and this microcredit can act as a source of it. That if you need loan, open a bank account, hence get yourself financially included. Then economic growth or the growth rate will increase. Others, if this is happening, if the at the large economic growth is there, at individual level poverty is decreasing, hunger is also decreasing, suicide rate is decreasing, everything is going beautiful, what will happen? Standard of living will increase, and it will in turn honor the social contract of the government of handholding or supporting the deprived sections of the society. Okay. If you don't know much about it, don't worry, I will deal separately with this. बाद में करूँगा मैं, but this is a keyword. Social contract, doubling farmer income, these all are the keywords. ठीक है? We sometimes use them in the content, we sometimes use them in the introduction, we sometimes use them in the conclusion. Once in every paper. That is the answer, I think, nothing else. Please write. Adarsh, I am coming to it, beta. I am coming to it. You raise a very important point, I am coming to it. When I will be dealing with the issues, na, I am coming to it. अच्छा, some of you at times may struggle in generating the arguments. ठीक है, just one thing from my side, have trust on me. I will get it done until December. That is my responsibility, not yours. ठीक है, what I am saying, whenever you are struggling in generating the arguments in the points, let's say the argument for economic growth, how the economic growth is increasing with the microcredit, what argument you will give? So since economic growth is increasing, why? Because the income levels are increasing as people are opening their own ventures with the help of microcredit. That is nothing but the argument that how economic growth is the benefit of microcredit. So those argument generation, as of now I am giving you the lecture delivery and I am giving you the handout, but this has to be automated. You cannot rectify or the mug up these arguments, not possible at all. These has to be inbuilt. With time it will happen, don't worry. हाँ हाँ, see, he is making a very good point, sir. Women entrepreneurs and women empowerment, we can merge them. Arey, you merge them. I just need 6 points or 7 points. Merge whatever you want to merge. People will merge poverty and hunger. So just merge those points. It's fine. Just use women empowerment as the argument or maybe the validation point. देखो सुनो, अभी हम जो बात कर रहे हैं ना वो बाद में जाके वापस से रिपीट करेंगे कि whenever you are falling short of points, break them. And I will give you a general list of points. मेरे को अभी मतलब अभी तो मैं ग्राउंड पे आया हूँ, मुझे खेलने दो थोड़ा, ठीक है? मेरे को एक बार सेंचुरी लगाने दो, फिर इसके बाद तुम देखते जाओ अभी. So I will give you a list of general points that whenever you are falling short of points, just add those points, your answer writing is done. But those cannot be first, second, third point. Those will be, let's say, last 3 points, last 2 points. Whenever we are falling short of points, just add them. You're done with the entire answer writing. Okay? Just go with me, don't worry at all. I will give you the complete list of definitions, I will give the complete list of general points, everything, don't worry. Okay? But with time. Abhi nahi, abhi early hai. चलो बढ़े आगे. Let's see the issues now. Beta, whenever we are dealing with the issues, see, the issues I can tell you very in a point wise format, this will be the issue, this will be the issue, this will be the issue, but you may not retain it. First I will give you the structure, that is how you have to recall the issues. Then final examination, you need not to remember the things. Your burden of rectifying is decreasing when I am giving the structure. What is the structure? For example, when I am dealing with the issues in the microcredit, just see this and focus upon the green color. Okay. What stakeholders you think are there? First, this is first stakeholder. So there will be some issues at the bank end. Maybe they are charging very high interest rate. Maybe they are not treating their customers properly. Maybe they do not have the sufficient funds. If you have the fund, then only you will give, na. Maybe they don't have the branches in the rural areas. I need a credit, but you don't have the branch. At my location, I have to travel maybe 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers to get the credit. So there will be some issues at the level of first stakeholder, that is bank. Then there will be some issues at the borrowers level. These all are borrowers, or these are the second category of stakeholders. Maybe they are not that educated to get the loan processed. Maybe they are not aware about the loan schemes available. Maybe they took the loan and they misuse the loan. There are cases where farmers have taken the loan for the sake of their daughters' marriages. There has been some instances. There has been some cases where they took the loan from the bank and that loan was misused, maybe in the liquor or maybe some other activities, personal activities. So there are some issues at the level of individual also. Then there will be some issues at this stakeholder. Who is this stakeholder? Government. maybe there are some leakages in the scheme. Are you getting my point? So there will be some issues at the level of government. So that is the what I can say, the structure. So whenever you're thinking upon the issues, especially in these topics, I will train you in such a fashion that you have to recall the structure first. What will be the structure? That there will be issues at the level of bank, then there will be issues at the level of beneficiaries or the borrowers, then there will be issues at the level of government. We are done with the entire topic. And if you are just rectifying the content, this point, this point, this point, this point, it will be a headache for you. Okay. So let's see first the issues at the level of microfinance institutions or the bank. Acha, I could have made this topic a little bit complex by giving you the difference between the banks and the microfinance institutions. I'm not going into those things because this is our first class. I want everyone to go along with me. For you as of now, microfinance institutions and banks are same. ठीक है? But in your foundation and maybe बाद में जाके, I will only take those lectures and I will make the difference. What are NBFCs? What are NBFCs, MFIs? What are FPOs and all those things? अभी के लिए let's not make it that complex कि यार ये भी पढ़ रहे हैं वो भी पढ़ रहे हैं साथ में mix कर दिया, prelims भी आ गया, mains भी आ गया, नहीं. Let's keep it very straight. Right now we are having the agenda of mains answer writing. Okay. So microfinance institutions or banks. The issues are poor funds availability. That whenever we talk about microfinance institutions separately, which are the parallel arms of bank, they borrow the funds from the bank. So there is a difference. Banks have their funds. These microfinance institutions will borrow the funds from the bank at some interest rate. Then they will lend it to the borrowers. What will happen in the process? First of all, there may be the condition when the bank is not giving them the funds out of some XY reason. So they may have the poor funds. Then since, just understand and relate, see the beauty. Whenever they are taking the funds from the bank and then they are lending it to the people, don't you think the interest rate will increase? Because ultimately, if these microfinance institutions have the profit motive, they want to give the salaries to their staff, they want to generate some profit, they have to keep some, what I can say, the spread. So if the banks are giving them the loans at the rate of, let's say, 7%, they will lend it to the borrowers at a rate of maybe 12%, 15%, 18%. You won't believe me, as per the reports, many of the microfinance institutions are giving the loan as high as 24% of the interest rate, because they need to get their expenses, salaries bharne, staff ki rent they have to pay, they have to keep the profits also. So that is the issue, and sometimes they are misusing the lax norms. RBI is having a strong hold on the banks, but microfinance institutions who are working at the parallel arm, sometimes they are not directly coming under the RBI directly. So in that process, they are keeping the interest rate on their own will. I have a village. In my village, there is only one institution which gives the microfinance loans. What will be the tendency? He will be exploiting his or her monopoly. That bank will be exploiting his or her monopoly, and he will be charging higher interest rates. So thirdly, they are giving short-term loans. Now, if I want to set up a business, beta, I need a loan of maybe 10 years ka span, maybe 20 years ka span. If you are talking about the normal bank, you are taking a bike, you are taking a car, they are giving the loans of 8 years, 10 years. But when you want to start a business, they will say, no, we will just give the loan for you 2 years. So that is something which is a, what I can say, the hurdle for the people who are taking the loan, right? Short-termness of the loan. Then we have the weak governance in microfinance institution. As I already told you, they are not directly coming under the control of RBI like the banks. Okay. Then regional imbalances are there. Many of the microfinance institutions are located in the southern states, or 80% of the total I will make you write all of it, don't worry, I will make you write. 80% of the total microfinance institutions, beta, are located in just 10 states. What about the northeastern states? Leave about the state. What about the rural areas which are deprived? There are some villages in which there are no microfinance institutions at all. People have to travel as large as 500 kilometers, 400 kilometers to get the loans. So there are regional imbalances. Then we have the rising NPAs. So as you all know, the tendency, S is small here, non-performing assets. NPAs matlab people are not returning back the loans. So then this is a demotivation for the bank to give the microcredit. I told you some people are misusing it, some people like they are failing in the business. So those are the issues right now. And almost if the country ka NPA level is around 5% or 7%, microfinance or microcredit ka NPA is high as 20%. Okay. Then we have evergreening of loans. Banks, just understand this. This is quite technical. You need to understand this. If bank is giving a loan to a certain person, if that person is not repaying the loan, bank has two conditions or the two possibilities. First, bank will mark the loan as NPA. That my business is not working and I took the loan but I am not able to repay it. You mark it NPA. But let's say I reach the bank by saying, you give me 1 lakh more and I will invest it, and in that process I will be able to repay it back. So I am first I took like say 1 lakh. Now I am asking the bank to give me 1 lakh more so that my business is coming out of the tough situations. That is nothing but the evergreening of the loan, and banks are readily doing it, because if they are marking the loan as NPA, there is more scrutiny on the bank. If you are marking it NPA, then your senior authorities will ask you why you give that loan, what happened to that loan, why you marked it NPA, we will go into the losses, all those things. But when you are evergreening the loan, you are giving them the more loan, the defaulters. Nobody is asking the question, because they are not realizing that this is the default, and on default you are paying more to those particular borrowers. So evergreening of loan is one of the important issues in micro credit. Then at the level of borrower, लास्ट स्लाइड लिख ली थी हमने, लास्ट लिख ली थी. Borrower, lack of borrower credit history. Now some person, let's say if you are going to the bank, sir, you are asking bank the credit that please I want to start my own venture, I want to start my own shop, you give me the credit. Are you are a youth, or maybe someone who hasn't done any business, who are not owning anything in the what I can say on the economic front. So there is no history, so there is no credibility that that you will be able to repay it. Someone messaged me in the comment section that, sir, if employed people are there, they are getting the loan, is it collateral? You have the history, they know that you can pay it back, right? But for the microcredit people who are taking the microcredit, there is hardly any credit history. Then financial literacy, leading to this term, I will tell you, I will make you write, don't worry. So financial illiteracy leading to low awareness, low education, low communication on the front. This I have discussed. Then there is a digital divide. Right now, with the advent of digitalization, UPA and all those things, even the bank, even the financial inclusion, people need mobile phones to get their loans processed. What if the person don't know how to use the mobile? What if the person don't have the mobile? So the digital divide is being a barrier to the microcredit. That multiple loans are there, leading to a debt trap. I told you the evergreening of loans. People are taking multiple loans, not only from the same bank, but from the different banks. Let's say if I have the 3 microfinance institutions in my vicinity, I went to 3 of them, I took loans from 3 of them, leading to the debt trap. Okay? So people are misusing the microcredit. Are you getting my point? Then fraud and use, I told you they are using it for the, let's say, marriages, etc., etc., and some other businesses. Maybe they took the lottery tickets, all those activities they are performing with the microcredits. And there are numerous cases, people are taking this loan and they are then using it in the lottery, and मेरा लग गया तो फिर मैं इसके और 4 लोन चुका दूंगा, ठीक है. Then governance related issues, lack of center state coordination. So as you all know that finance may center and state both plays a major role. So whenever there is a center state coordination, the issues of regional imbalances will be more prominent. So one size fits all. So government is making the scheme which is maybe not catering to demand of all the sections. So this is, it may not be for all the sections differently. Government made a single scheme कि भाई for the, let's say, people having income less than 3 lakh, you can give the loan of this lakh and we will give you the collateral, or we will be acting as a collateral. So it's a one size fit all approach. Then we have the policies as barriers. How the policies are barriers? This I will explain. You write the entire points. Please write. Adarsh, I hope I made this clear, है ना? Interest rate वाला point. IEC, information, education and communication. Whenever you are writing it, this I will be using in almost all the topics. IEC, lack of IEC. So generally a standard keyword for lack of awareness is lack of IEC. Okay? So instead of awareness, we will be using this keyword. So this is a keyword in answer writing. IEC, information, education and communication. Sorry. Again, I am reiterating our fact that in these classes, regular classes, I will be going with the concepts, with the base, with the arguments. What I will be doing for all the peripheral topics, I will be keeping a marathon, day long class in which we will be covering the entire mains ka topics, whatever are peripheral nature, so that we are not leaving anything important. That will be periodic in nature, once in 2 months or once in 3 months. Done. Chalo. Now in this topic there are two subparts which I wish to give you as homework. Although I will be dealing in the single lecture of government initiatives with all the initiatives. Online, just एक मिनट मेरे को दे दो क्योंकि otherwise you will be missing this. ठीक है, all the government initiatives for the entire syllabus. For this I will be taking a single lecture. This I have done in the past also, this I will do this year also. For the entire syllabus, for the all the topic, be it static or be it current, from the mains perspective, this I will deal in a single lecture, so that we can use them in the value addition, we can use them as a part of the question. Okay, so right now what I will do, I will put all the government initiatives as the self reading in your handout. For example, in microcredit, so there are some government programs like SHG bank linkage program, then we have Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Some of the important ones you try to remember as of now. ठीक है, फर्स्ट सेकंड वाला इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, बस उतना कर लोगे बहुत है. Even 5 initiatives, 7 initiatives you are able to remember, it's fine. Not more than that are required. ठीक है, let's say institutional. अच्छा, whenever we are looking forward the government initiatives, either the government will be doing schemes. अच्छा चलो ऐसे देखो तुम. There may be the crowd who is new with me. Government initiatives. Beta, whenever you look at the government initiatives on the board for next 1 minute, government initiative is not only about government schemes. It's not that government has brought this scheme, that scheme. No, whenever government scheme is there, your first line of thought will be institutions. Let's say if I talk about the women empowerment, what are the institutions of women empowerment? We have the National Commission for Women. We have a dedicated Ministry of Women and Child Development. So those are nothing but the government initiatives. Then secondly, we have policies and acts. Now for example, for women, we have Dowry Prevention Act, we have various. For microfinance, we have PSL norms, I told you. We have other, let's say this dedicated MFIs, and we have the government verdict of a government, what I can say, the obligation that they have to serve at least 80% for the NBFC MFIs. I will give you the data to the microcredit, or as the microcredit, 80% of the loans for the NBFCs MFIs, they have to give it as the microcredit. So we have the policies, acts and the norms. Then comes the pictures of the scheme, that you have the SHG bank linkages program, you have the Mudra Yojana, you have the e-microcredit scheme, etc., etc. Now not valid in microcredit but valid in other topics, maybe environment ka topic, internal security ka topic. For example, if we are talking about the, let's say, this terrorism, so what government has done, so you will talk about the institutions, policies, acts, schemes, then international collaborations. Has we done something with the UN? Has we done something at the global level? Is there any treaty which we have signed for the global level? So that is how we have to see the government initiatives. It is not only about schemes. Okay? So whenever I'm putting this in your document, you have to see it through this lens, and just 20% of it, whatever you are able to remember it. Rest you can safely ignore. I hope I made myself little bit clear. Chalo, what you will be doing is better now. I am giving you some data points. You have to write, note down for the microcredit. I will just take 2 minutes hardly. Okay? Please write. Microcredit data. First, more than 150 microfinance institutions are operating in the country. So when I talk about microfinance institution, I am talking about the branch. I'm not talking about the branches. Branches could be many. More than 150 microfinance institutions, that is brands, are operating in the country. Second data you write. As per SIDB, around 8 crore borrowers, around 8 crore borrowers have taken around around को हटा दो, have taken active microfinance loans, have taken active microfinance loans. Third you write, as per NABARD, all these institutions either you will see in the current affairs or maybe in your GS foundation. As per NABARD, 76% of microfinance loans, 76% of microfinance loans are served in rural areas, and you will be surprised to know, according to economic survey 2023-2024, so economic survey 23-24, 90% of microfinance loans, 98% sorry, of microfinance loans are with women, एक काम करो, ऐसे वैल्यू में कंफ्यूज हो गए कि इज दिस अबाउट द वैल्यू और इज दिस अबाउट द बोरोवर्स, तो क्लियरली लिख लो 98% ऑफ माइक्रो फाइनेंस लोन clients are women. Clients, it is not about value, it is about clients are women. ठीक है, please write next point 5 fifth. NBFC MFI, ये बाद में देखेंगे क्या होता है अगर जिसको नहीं पता. नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल कॉर्पोरेशन MFI, माइक्रो फाइनेंस इंस्टीट्यूशन, नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंस कंपनीज MFI has to give has to give 80% of loans to micro borrowers. Then you write next point. %46 of loans, 46% of loans are with family having income less than 20,000. Family having income less than 20,000. Now you will write some committee. These committees, beta सुन लो, These committee acts as a value addition. These committees can be used in the conclusion also, and sometimes we start the introduction also with the committee. Okay. So I am giving the name Rangarajan Committee 2008. Rangarajan Committee 2008 semicolon. Highlighted the role of microcredit in financial inclusion. Financial inclusion. See, board पे देखो. If the question is asking you the benefits of the microcredit, and you are writing one of the benefits as, let's say, financial inclusion. Financial inclusion semicolon, since borrowers will open account to get microcredit. Value addition, what you will write? Rangarajan Committee bracket 2008 also highlighted the importance. Rangarajan Committee highlighted the importance of microcredit in financial inclusion. So if we are giving the microcredit, it will lead to the financial inclusion. So that is how you have to use these value addition tools. Does that make sense? Chalo. Second committee, right? YH. Acha, ek cheez, sorry. You need to be smart. If the question is coming on the financial inclusion, you will use the same committee. In the reverse. Uno reverse कर दोगे बस. ठीक है. YH Malegam. And every next year, either you have the question on the microcredit or the this financial inclusion, every next year. ठीक है, या तो माइक्रोक्रेडिट पे आएगा या एसएचजी पे आएगा या इस पे आएगा फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन पे. कमिटी यूज होंगी होंगी. YH Malegam. In bracket you write 2010. It tried to fix issues in microfinance sector. It tried to fix issue in microfinance sector. Beta, tell me one thing on the board, where you will use this committee. See, right now I have to spend this time, okay, everyone online and offline. I have to spend this time so that you can use the utility, you can understand the utility. Otherwise पढ़ाना बहुत आसान काम है, मैं खट खट करके आगे बढ़ जाऊंगा. But if you are not understanding the utility, where you have to use this, no point. ज्ञान का कोई use नहीं है unless until you are converting into marks. ठीक है. Where you will use it. Try to fix the issue in the microfinance sector. Whenever the question is about the way forward, or whenever the directive is examined, critically examined, I will deal it in the future, that how you have to go about the directive, for what directive you have to address the way forward, for what directive you can skip the way forward. So in the way forward, as directed by YH Malegam Committee, we have to do X, Y, Z. So we will not say that, I am suggesting you the way forward. No. We will compose our way forward that as per the YH Malegam Committee in 2010, these below steps can be taken. So introduce the value addition, you have given your measures also, and examiner will not cross verify whether YH Malegam Committee give it or not. And believe me, whatever way forward I will give you in the document is 80% taken from this committee only. Okay? So in the way forward, and in 90% of the questions you have to write the way forward. Okay? Either explicitly or implicitly, बाद में बात करेंगे. Then you write next. अच्छा, दो बहुत है, तीसरी रहने दो, हैवी हो जाएगी अभी. इतनी बहुत है, इतनी याद कर लो. ठीक है, चलो. We are done with the microcredit. I will give you the way forward. Now there will be some short-term things which you will be doing. There will be some long-term things you will be doing in order to improve the condition of the microcredit. You will read it from the document. So please write way forward. Read from the handout. way forward, read from the handout. Or if you are a very good aspirant, please do make the notes, है ना, time निकाल के edit in your notes only. चलो, let's start the third topic now. Indus Water Treaty. Take a page. This is from which area of your paper? Paper 2 IR. ठीक है. So recently, as you all might know, amid the ongoing issues, I will not say tension now, tension पहले थी, अब issue है पूरा, ठीक है. So we suspended Indus Water Treaty. If you are regular with the newspaper, or maybe if you are not regular with the newspaper, then also this treaty ka name you might have heard, that we are not going to give our water to the Pakistan anymore. So let's see what is happening on the ground. So what we have done, we have suspended the treaty. Beta, first of all, if you are sitting in the interview na, this information or this piece of information will help you like anything. Because as of now, when we see, you know, we have suspended the treaty, we think now we will not send water to the Pakistan. Understand what is happening right now? The Indus, majorly the 6 rivers which are flowing, they are first flowing through the India, the northern region of the India, then they are entering into the Pakistan. 6 rivers. Out of these 6, 3, the western rivers, are entirely flowing into the Pakistan. 3 rivers are extensively coming into the India, then either going into the Arabian Sea or maybe into the Pakistan. Okay. And maybe they are sometimes merging also. Fine, fair enough, no issues. What is happening? What is the crux point? That first they are coming to India, then they are going to the Pakistan. So I told you there are some western rivers and there are some eastern rivers. Eastern rivers are, anyone in the class? Bias, Ravi and Satluj. And the western rivers are Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. So these are the eastern rivers, majority of them come to India. These are the western rivers, majority of them flows to Pakistan. In 1960s, what happened? In 1960s, India and Pakistan tried to find a solution for the issue, that, you know, how much water which country will be using, how we will be, you know, managing the water issues, etc., etc. And they reached the World Bank, where the World Bank brokered this treaty. Brokered matlab they sat on the table with India and Pakistan, and then they made a deal. So in 1960, both of them went to the World Bank, and World Bank brokered this treaty. Now, what do you think this treaty should have? First of all, see, again, right now I am talking about the basics like this only. You should have the picture in your head. No topic will be difficult for you. But if you are not having these basic sound, you will keep on ratifying everything. Okay. So my agenda right now, when I am opening this scheme, is to make you well versed with the basics. Whenever I am having any treaty, to what all things, when I am dealing with the river, this treaty will deal with? First of all, water sharing. That who will use what water. Then this treaty will deal with water use. Okay, we are not sharing the water, but what about the water use? Can we make the dam? Can we, you know, we are not taking the water, but we are just producing the electricity from the running water. Apart from this, this treaty will be dealing with the dispute resolution, if there is any dispute between India and Pakistan regarding to anything, this treaty will be trying to address that. Apart from this, beta, this treaty enabled data sharing between India and Pakistan. So what happened, what is the requirement actually, that how much water is coming into the Indus? If India is giving that piece of information to Pakistan, Pakistan can use it much better, the resources of that river. Maybe they can, close or open the floodgates. Maybe they can be more prepared in case of flood. Maybe they are able to assess their next futures ka forecast. Are you getting my point? So whatever water is flowing in those rivers, the sharing of the data of those particular, flowing water was enabled by this treaty between the two countries. Then this treaty also enabled the independent inspection. How one can trust us that we are honoring the treaty. So what this treaty enabled, okay, Pakistan will be able to do the independent inspection. Someone from the Pakistan can come to India and can inspect the entire stretch of the river. Okay. So this was the entire thing. Now when they brokered this treaty, beta, water sharing mein, first of all they made the western rivers, eastern rivers ka classification. They told that western rivers will be used by the Pakistan and eastern rivers will be India's what I can say, the domain. But in that process, what happened, that India was just allotted 20% of the entire water, and 80% of the water was flowing through the Pakistan, or was going to the Pakistan. First thing, whenever I am saying water use, this treaty enabled that you can make some hydropower projects but smaller in size. You cannot make the very big dams or the projects. You can make some small projects. Now on what rivers you think these projects will be allowed? Eastern rivers or the western rivers? See, eastern rivers, so we can use whatever way we want to use. This treaty allowed India to make the projects, smaller version projects on the western rivers. Arey beta, understand one thing. Those Chenab, Indus and Jhelum are flowing through India. If there is more water in the rivers, what if those rivers are over flooding? Don't you think India should have the right to control? Otherwise we will be flooded, right? If we are not diverting the water, if we are not we will be flooded. Secondly, one fair point is, if we are not using the water for the fields or the agriculture, we are not diverting the water, but we are using the water for the electricity generation, what is the harm? It is the running water. This is just the potential difference. So what is the harm there? No harm. So on the western rivers also, we were permitted to make some projects, smaller version projects. Dispute resolution mein, this treaty went through the 3 level ka dispute resolution. Now this is important from a prelims point of view, although let me tell you one thing very frankly, we will be dealing independently in prelims for a lecture about the IEWT from the prelims perspective. From the mains perspective, just understand, if UPSC asked you the provisions of the Indus Water Treaty, this you have to write, nothing else, nothing less, nothing more. Okay. These are the entire provisions. Logically I am telling you so that you can fit it. रटना नहीं पड़ेगा आपको, है ना? So we will be taking water sharing, water use, dispute resolution, then data sharing, then independent inspection. Now when I talk about 3 level ka dispute resolution, this treaty first of all talked about the permanent Indus Commission. Everything is in your notes, do not write anything, samjho bas. This treaty said, if at the level 1 India will choose one representative, Pakistan will choose one representative, they will sit together and they will try to find a solution for the issues. But do you think this will always work? There could be some disagreement. So this treaty told there could be some level 2 का solution where an independent arbitration or the expert will be there. So the independent expert will assess everything and he will be then giving the thing. You may agree or you may not agree with the same, but let's say if you don't agree with the same, this will escalate to the court of arbitration. So court of arbitration is at the level 3 of this dispute resolution mechanism. Okay. So this was the entire treaty ka provisions, but in this entire provisions, what if we exit the treaty? Is there anything, is there anywhere it is mentioned that what will be the, you know, what I can say, the steps if someone exit the treaty? No. So this treaty never gave the exit clause. And most important, this treaty was also not enforceable, non-enforceable. No one can take action on us if we are not enforcing the treaty. Why I am making these 2 points is we have exited the treaty. Now India has taken the call that we will not honor this treaty anymore. Now when we are saying we will not honor the treaty, beta, what you think we can do? If we are suspending the treaty, what do you think we will do? First of all, will we stop the water to the Pakistan? Will we stop the water to the Pakistan? Can we do that? How many think we can do that? Understand one thing. We can do that, but partially. As I already told you, we have made some dams which are used for the power generation. But don't you think that, you know, if we are stopping the water at that large quantity in our dams, that the same water will flow to the northern India? It may lead to floods in the northern India. Now, if we want to stop the water, we need more dams. We need big dams, not the small dams. We need big dams which can stop the water. But do you think that, you know, making such big dams is a task of one day or maybe 1 year or maybe 2 years? No. So even if we are thinking that, you know, we can punish what I say Pakistan by stopping the water, it is not practical. So whenever you are seeing the news with the mindset is not this, but to something which I am coming to it right from now. So whenever we are suspending the Indus Water Treaty, na, don't make the mindset of that, you know, the WhatsApp University wala people that अब हम पाकिस्तान का सारा पानी रोक देंगे. भाई तुम उनका रोकोगे इधर आएगा, floods होंगी. So that is not something which is the aim of the government. They are mature enough, they know what they are doing, है ना? So whenever you are reading the treaty suspending, this we can do, but in a very limited thing, limited phase. We cannot stop the entire you know, water of the Pakistan. Not possible even in 1 year from now, because dam making needs time. If you want to stop the water, you need bigger dams which can stop the entire water. Now that means this and this is limited. We cannot stop the water sharing in a short span of time. But see the other things. Second most important thing is data sharing and independent inspection. We will not allow any Pakistani to come to India to inspect our terrains. Let me tell you one thing very important, very important. When you will read the newspaper na, whenever we talk about the Indus Water Treaty, there is nothing in this treaty which talks about the terrorist hiding across the terrains of these rivers. You are talking about the water sharing, but you are not talking about the terrorists who are hiding near the plains of these rivers, maybe in the POK or maybe, you know, in the Pakistan. So that's the pain point of India. And why we will share data with you if you are not helping us, or if you're not, what I can say, the supporting the cause of India, and you are supporting those, terrorists. You might seen the image of a Pakistani army standing near a terrorist in the, funeral of those people. So those army people are standing with the terrorist in the funerals. That's the current, what I can say, the stage of the Pakistanis or the Pakistan. And just to go थोड़ा डेविएट होता हूँ, पाकिस्तान का मेजर दिक्कत क्या है पता है आपको? क्या है? क्या है? In India, we have the control on our army. In India, the government has the control on the army. When we say, there will be no ceasefire, we will honor it. Our army will honor whatever the call government is taking. But at their stage, the army and the government, first of all, they are not on the same lines. If government is saying something, army is saying a different thing. They are the totally different stance, and the army is not listening to the government at all. And now there is a power tussle. Ki bhai, who will be holding more power, army or the government? Now, what army is trying to do? If we want more power, we will go with war with India, or we will, escalate India's tension, or we will provoke India, so that people in the country can have the sentiment for us, and hence we can have the more power. So that is the tussle ongoing in the stage of, Pakistan. Just anyways, let me come back to the treaty now. Beta, what we will be doing is, we will be first of all not sharing any data, and we will start making the dams. We will go for the dams construction, which may be even bigger in size. Now no one can say us that dam is big or small. So we have many ongoing projects. We have Kishan Ganga, we have Baglia Dam on Chenab, etc. etc. So we have many ongoing projects which we will scale up from now. No one will say us anything that ये dam तुमने क्यों बना दिया चेनाब पे, है ना? Then no inspection whatsoever. Whenever we want to release water, we will release water. We won't share any information. If you can control, you control. If you can't control, it's your. Are you getting my point? So that is the mindset or the utility of the treaty का suspension, है ना? पाकिस्तान का पानी रोकना अभी के लिए, not that कि सारा पानी रोक देंगे, ठीक है? चलो. So we have talked much about it. Now let's see from the exam point of view. Right now, examiner, if it will ask the Indus Water Treaty, first of all, direct question will not come, ठीक है? Believe me. If it comes, the examiner will be asking the provisions of the treaty, or else it will be asking the, let's say, why you think that this treaty suspension was overdue. Why you think ये हमें करना ही था, आज नहीं तो कल. We have to suspend this treaty. What are the points which compelled government to suspend the treaty other than the Pahalgam attack? ठीक है. Otherwise, you will see this topic maybe the indirectly, like state-sponsored terrorism, either you will find it, or maybe in the neighborhood policy, maybe you will find this topic. ठीक है. So let's start. Give a heading. For this, we will not write the introduction. ठीक है. You can give the current context that India is suspended. So we will just start. So if you can see, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, these are the board पे देखो बेटा. Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, these are the western rivers. These are the eastern rivers. ठीक है. So we अच्छा इधर लिखा है. India's right over these rivers can set up certain irrigation run-off river power plants. Run-off river matlab river will keep flowing and we can generate the electricity with very limited storage, domestic and non-consumptive use, all subject to conditions. And for the eastern rivers, India's right over these rivers, all exclusive right lies with India. Whatever you want to do, you do with these three eastern rivers. ठीक है? Okay. Provisions I have told you briefly: allocation of river, allocation of water, sharing of data, general inspection in 5 years, annual meetings. This you will write in this format. So you take this treaty provisions. Venkata Shiva. Beta, they might have pressurized them, na? Ki we are giving you this so that you don't, go into the war. They might have pressurized them. Shall we move ahead? So these western rivers are with Pakistan, and these eastern rivers are with India. Acha, when I used to remember them, this is in Hindi BRS, Baras. So BRS, Baras. ठीक है, पानी बरसता है वो चीज. हाँ, रेवीज बना लो, कुछ भी बना लो, ऐसे याद कर लेना. बाकी फिर जो बची वो उसमें ICJ. So data sharing we will be doing annual independent inspection every 5 years. No exit clause, non-enforceable. No one can dictate us anything. Done. Chalo. So these are the provisions. Then the legal framework, this dispute resolution mechanism I have explained. So this will be at 3 level. First is permanent in the commission, where we will have one representative, they will have one representative. If they can resolve, then there will be an independent expert, then there will be court of arbitration. Then no exit clause is there, no enforcement mechanism is there, then no ICJ recourse, matlab they cannot even go to the International Court of Justice under this treaty. So these both are same almost. Okay, no ICJ recourse, they cannot go to International Court of Justice. So there are 3 courts, PCA, ICJ and चलो we will see बाद में, अभी confuse मत करो, बस ICJ लिख लो. ठीक है. Need to reform IWT. Now the question can come, what was the need, or what is the need in reforming the, what is the like why we need to reform the IWT, or why you think the IWT has lived its entire life. Yeah, why do you think it has to be suspended, है ना? चलो, or what are the other factors responsible for suspending IWT other than the Pelgam attack? Points will remain the same. First is changing demand. So now the points will be very general to you. Okay, since I have explained you the entire story, now we have to just focus on the points and see the arguments I am putting. Population growth and increased water demand. So this treaty is of 1960s. From then till now, the entire demography of the nation has evolved. We have population growth and our water demand has increased. And this treaty has just allocated 20% of the entire water. So we need more percentage of water. So first point is population demand as in population growth and increased water demand. So right now we are getting just 20% of the water from this Indus Water Treaty. Unequal sharing of water. Then this you also know as 80:20. So 80 was with Pakistan and India is just having 20%. Outdated hydrological data baseline. So see, don't go into this complexity. ये क्या होता है? Just understand one thing. When the sharing was done in 1950s, when the sharing was done or this treaty was signed, we used the data of 1950s. That okay, this is the hydrological baseline data. Hence, you will get 20%. They will get 80%. But from then, since now, topography has also evolved. Demography has also evolved. Topography you see in the geography, demography is human geography. Okay? So we need to use the current data for the revised version. Then restrictions on India's storage system development. So if you can see, we cannot make big projects on the 3 rivers ICJ. So if we cannot do that, we will face difficulties in terms of floods, in terms of other issues. Okay? What about the people of India living around those rivers, in the vicinity of those rivers? It is injustice with them. You're not allowing them to use any of the data, despite of them living near the river valleys. Okay. Then we have impact on energy generation. So it will impact India's, or it is impacting India's energy security. See, now you will see many names of the dam. Kishan Ganga, Bagliyar, etc., which I will give in your document. Okay. So those dams we are either constructing or those are already constructed on the Chenab or Jhelum. Okay. Just have a look that which dam is on which river. Prelims में वापस से देखेंगे. Now the name of the dam na, Rattler Dam project, Kishan Ganga project, those are not important from the mains perspective. So I am skipping it. But when we will see this topic again in the prelims, I will take it back. Okay. So it will impact the energy generation or the energy security of the country. Then it will address climate change impact. So if we are revising it, we will be able to address the climate change impact. For example, the glaciers are melting, right? So if we are able to revise the treaty, we will be bringing in the climate change ka impacts also into the picture, which were not there. Climate change was not an issue in 1950s, right? It is an recent ongoing issue. Hence, it has to be the part of the treaty. Inadequate conflict resolution mechanism. As I already told you, the treaty is not enforceable at all. Strategic autonomy on water. What is this now? What is strategic autonomy on water? Arey yaar, the treaty is brokered by the World Bank. So are we independently, what I can say, taking decisions on the resources flowing through the India? No. Someone else is dictating the terms for us. So it is hampering the strategic autonomy. We are not autonomous to take the decisions for the water flowing in our land or on our land. Okay? So if we are revising the treaty with our conditions, we will be having, what I can say, the autonomy on the water resources. Then emerging regional alliances. For example, Pakistan and China, they are collaborating with on CPEC. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or One Road, One Belt initiative. So they both are collaborating in those, what I can say, the infrastructure initiatives at bilateral levels, of which India is not a part. But all those constructions is happening around these river areas only. So we need to take all those bilateral alliances, or what I can say the regional alliances, emerging alliances, into picture as a part of this treaty. That if you will make something closer to India's border, we'll make the dam by. Then we will not listen to you. Although treaty is suspended right now, we will be starting making the dams. Fine. So there were other diplomatic dimensions like terrorist infrastructure, as I told you, were there in the basin areas, which was not part of the treaty. So if you want to honor the treaty, you need to ensure that there is no terrorist activity, maybe in your region or in the region which are illegally occupied from India, POK. Then geopolitical lobbying. So what Pakistan is doing, try to understand. We are constructing a, let's say, a power project. What they are doing, they are making it an international issue, that India is not honoring the treaty, India is not honoring the treaty. So what they are trying to do is, they're trying to make a false sentiment in the global order. Then limited role of World Bank. So India's demand for greater autonomy in dispute handling. Chalo. So this you will write. जल्दी से लिख लो. Done. How many of you are done with this? Yogesh Garg is asking, sir, how to read notes and handouts? We read both. Beta, handouts are just for the future reference. Okay? So if you have a doubt in any point, if you are failing to drive the arguments, okay? If you want to revise things, maybe in a detailed manner, then go for the handouts. Just keep it as a passing reference. Revision notes you need not to use if you are making the notes in the class. If you are watching the recorded class, take out the print of the revision note. That is it. But I don't prefer you all to go for the recorded versions personally. Rest is your call. जोश हाई रखो, ठंडे मत पड़ना, फायदा नहीं है पंचवर्षीय योजना बनाने का. एक साल में निकालो एग्जाम, बाहर हो जाओ. ठीक है. चलो. Now there are some instructions from my side. पहले listen to these instructions. Class notification will be coming in your personal Telegram channel or the private Telegram channel of ICA. Okay, you all should be part of this channel. So whatever is the time of the class, generally the class timings on Sunday, it will be from 11:30 to 5. So there will be 2 classes on Sunday. 11:30 to 2 almost we will have a class. Then maybe 2:30 to 5 we will have the second class with a 30 minutes ka break in between. Right. Today purposefully I had the one class only because in morning slot we were this space was being used by the people who were writing tests for the Prelims 2025. Okay. So from next Sunday we will be meeting in 2 slots on a single day. Now we can keep these classes on 2 days, but there is no use, right? You are meeting for 2.5 hours on Saturday, then you are meeting for 2.5 hours on Sunday. Let's meet for a single day for 2 classes. Initially you may face a problem, for sitting for some long hours, but don't worry, I will get you trained. I am expert of it. So these 2 classes will be there. If there is any cancellation, any extra class, you will be notified in the Telegram channel. What you have to do, listen to me very like what I can say, sensibly. Unmute this channel, do not mute this, and second, please pin the channel in your Telegram. If you keep pressing the channel, there will be an option of pin. So pin the channel at the top so that you are having the notification of the channel. Does that make sense? Then next about the mains ka I need to discuss with you. Please make the class notes. Other than class notes, you don't need anything. I am giving the class handouts. Please refer them for the arguments if you are facing any difficulty in generating the arguments. Okay? Then whatever is the homework, for example, I ask you to write the way forward, use the handouts to write the way forward in your notes only. End में जाके बेटा 10 चीजें नहीं कर सकते. You need to limit to anyone, and I will recommend just limit to your class notes. Whatever you want to add from the handouts also add to your class notes. That is it. Okay? Then there is some revision handout I am dropping. So if you find the use of it, you can use it. I explained you that in the last class also. For mains, we will be having 4 sessions in a month. 4 sessions in a month. Like this is the one session. Today we met for the first session. So in a month, 4 sessions will be of mains, 4 sessions will be of prelims. If I want to take any session extra, I will notify you in advance, right? And maybe in 2 months, in 3 months, I will keep a day-long classes for covering the peripheral topics. Okay. Chalo. Next thing is you have a homework. In the class handout, although I will take this up in some of my sessions later, in the class handout, there is a topic of financial inclusion. This is linked with microcredit only. although a different topic. I will deal later with this, but please read it. ठीक है अभी के लिए. In the class handout, I've dropped the class handout, revision handout in your Telegram channels. So this is a homework for you. Next and the last thing is the question of the day. Please write. Please write. Highlighting the importance of microcredit. Highlighting the importance of microcredit. Discuss the challenges being faced in the implementation of microcredit led development. Microcredit led development. This is a 15 marker, 250 words. $15 marker, 250 bucks. Beta, see this now. I taught you this. I need an introduction. Conclusion I have not taught you, but let me see if you can generate the conclusion. If you don't find any, just go to the entire document. Do not copy paste the same conclusion as it is. Okay. Introduction, there will be parts of the question, then there will be conclusion. In this, apart from introduction, how many parts are there of the question? There will be introduction. Part 1 is importance. Very good. Importance of micro credit. Then you will write the points. Okay. So maybe there will be some social importance, there will be some economic importance, there will be some other importance. Then challenges being faced by. So challenges in microcredit implementation. So you should know how to make your parts compact. Indirectly question is asking you this. Why you have to write the entire thing? Just write challenges in microcredit implementation. What will the challenges? You will use the stakeholder approach. That first, challenge at the level of microfinance institutions or banks, challenge at the level of borrowers, challenge at the level of governance. Then you will conclude. Okay. Each point in this will have the keyword, argument, validation. Now let me tell you one thing, you will struggle in the argument and the validation. थोड़ी दिक्कत होगी. For all the points, first of all, you need not to write the validation. At this stage, अभी मत लिखो. ठीक है. At this stage, do not write validation for all the points. Try to write the arguments, and wherever you fail to write the argument, just leave the points as it is. ठीक है. अब, other than this, who don't know me before the ICA, if you were not my student earlier, you need to complete 3 things. First is a session on basics of answer writing. Second is GS2 decoding. And third is GS3 decoding. The links of all these 3 sessions I will drop in your ICA channel. Before next class, I want you to watch all the 3 sessions and come to the class. Please do watch. Agar if you want to streamline your preparation on the right track, you will learn a lot. Okay, chalo, see you. Thank you online.